Oh, what's up, guys? Oh. Just chilling out with me and my dog. Let's see here, make sure I got this set up right. Alright, this is the response to Upchurch's video he posted. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I think. He was talking about being out in the woods of Nashville. Well, it was out on a highway, interstate or whatever, and he saw something unidentifiable. So he was curious about if anybody else has had any stories like that before, and I just happen to remember. I can remember one for me. Oh, it's been about I'd say 8 or 9 years ago. I was on my motorcycle, and I was out driving. It was late at night. It wasn't too late. It's probably 11, 12 o'clock maybe, middle of the night. And I usually take the same way up at Floyd Knobs in Indiana, but it's up on the, what do they call it, the winery or whatever, Huber's Winery. It's up near there. They got a bunch of windy roads and stuff. It's good travel for motorcycles. But I pulled off and stopped one day, and it's the same spot I usually pull off at to just chill out and relax and get a good view up there. And I looked out, and I was like, well, I saw something that was different. I was like, what's that? But like Upchurch was talking about, you kind of know what it is when you see it. At first I did, and I was like, it's not an airplane, and it's not a jet, and it was just weird. There was 5 of them. I think there was 5. But how he described them was exactly how I saw them. Only, like, they weren't turning, they weren't moving, they were just floating, like, above the buildings over Louisville area, because I was in, like, New Albany up on Floyd Knobs, so I was quite a ways. But up there, you're set up higher, the altitude's higher, and you can see more, so you can see all 5 of these. Like, it was a soft, like, mellow glow. Like, they were bright, but they didn't hurt your eyes. And I was just like, I don't know, I didn't know what it was. Like, I knew what it could be, but I wasn't for sure. I was like, are they some kind of, like, military government planes or what? But they were just hovering there. Like, no smoke was coming from them. There was no windows. They were way too far to tell if there were any windows. And they weren't moving real fast or nothing. They were just sitting there. It was weird. And I stayed there, I bet you, for a good 10 minutes watching these things, just waiting for them to just take off. And they never took off. They were just sitting there. And I was like, well, so I called my dad, and I told him about it at the time. And he said, I was like, you can come right up here real quick. I'm sure they're going to still be around. And he said, no, he was in bed. He had to work, I think, that next day. But then he was like, you'll be all right, No, I wouldn't worry too much about him. I was like, well, it's just like, it's pretty crazy, And he said, yeah, like, he's seen some weird stuff he's told me in the past. Like, one time, I'm getting off subject, but he said he's seen a bird, which I've seen something about like this too a long time ago when I was like 10 or 11. But a bird was flying, and me and my buddy was throwing dirt clods, And I thought I threw a dirt clod because it was on this hill, and a bird flew into it, and like dirt just blew up out of everywhere. But my buddy was like, "No, there wasn't no bird around, and there wasn't no bird." I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "I swear there wasn't no bird." But that clot, dude, it hit something, and it just demolished, just blew up like it's in midair, like it. And then I picked up another dirt clod and I picked it up and I threw it in the same area and it didn't explode or nothing. And I was like, that's just weird, you know. But my dad said he seen a bird one time and it was flying as he was driving, and it was broad daylight when this happened. And he was on the interstate, and he said this bird was like it got stuck in midair. My dad said it flew down and it was trying to go under it, and once it flew down, it couldn't go under it. So then it flew up, and it was trying to go over it, and it couldn't. So then it went left, and it was going right. It was like looking for a way around whatever this object was, but you couldn't see the object. It was invisible. And my dad was like, just kept looking at it as he was driving, you know. And the bird, you could tell, was starting to wear out. He said it was getting tired. And finally, whatever was there, it just, boom, vanished. And then the bird like started flying, you know, and it went ahead and flew. But it was, you know, so I mean, my dad's seen some weird stuff before, and then we had a teacher one time, Mr. Buckwalter, I think was his name, middle school. No, yeah, he was middle school teacher. He was shop teacher. But he was telling us that he saw something one time. He said, you know, he was out in the field or something and waiting on his wife or something. He said he saw this thing and it was there, and then next thing you minute, like it was gone. Like he said, it just went poof. It was out nowhere. But yeah, I don't know what it was I saw. I always remember at night though. I'll never forget that. But back to the story though. I do remember. So that next day, I wanted to see if what I saw was like construction lights or something like that. So I went back there the next day, only it was in broad daylight. And I pulled off same spot and looked over in that direction, and I didn't see nothing. They were gone. And I think I even went back at night, and they weren't there no more, and they haven't been since. So I knew whatever it was, there was 5 of them, and it wasn't a construction or anything like that. There ain't no way, because they would probably, I would assume they would still be there, like the light fixtures, the cranes, whatever, and they weren't. And like the building over there weren't no construction or anything, so I wouldn't even know why there would be any shop lights up over that way. But you know, I've heard of Kentucky anyways being a good, you know, and that was over in Louisville area where I seen that. But I've heard Kentucky's a hot spot for UFOs. Like police officers and stuff see them all the time. They get calls in over there. I mean, I hear all kinds of stuff over there. So, I mean, whatever it is, we don't know. I don't know if they're aliens. I don't know if, like, interdimensional spirits or something. I have no clue. But I do know that there's some weird stuff that people see out there and they can't explain it. And history has shown that yeah, uh, they've seen things before. And in the Bible, it talks about like Ezekiel's will. If you look at supposedly there was somebody that, you know, back in the biblical days who described a wheel inside of a wheel. I think it was Ezekiel, and he gets in this thing, and they take him like to a place, and he gets out and he gets to see where they live, and it's like wild, it's cool and fabulous place, you know. And then he gets back in it, and they fly him back to like out in the desert someplace and drop him off, and he's telling all of his, like, I don't know if they were prophets or what, but telling them, you know, what he saw and where they took him and different stuff. So, I mean, history tells us that there's something if they're gods from another place or what. And, who's to say that we weren't created or something by these people and they're much more intelligent than we are? What if they put us here? Supposedly, if you look up the story, I can't think of it, Planet X, and he talks about it. I can't remember. He wrote a book. I can't think of the guy's name right now off the top of my head. Something Stitching. But he talks about like aliens and stuff, or these gods who come from another planet every 32 something thousand years or something, and visit the place and check it out, make sure it's all ran good, hypothetically. I'm just bullshitting a little bit about going about it. But I can't remember his first name, something Stitching. But you can Google his last name Stitching and look him up. But he wrote a book years ago. It's called the 10th Planet or Planet X. But yeah, that's my story for you, Upchurch. But I'll see you around. I'll see my doggy. Hershey. What you doing, buddy? What you doing? He's beat. I'll see y'all later. Bye.